Imagine an empire, born from the windswept steppes of Central Asia, stretching its iron grip across continents. This was the Mongol Empire, the largest contiguous land empire in history. By the early 13th century, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, the Mongol hordes had swept through Asia, leaving a trail of conquered kingdoms and smoldering cities. Their cavalry, a storm of arrows and steel, seemed unstoppable. From the Great Wall of China to the ancient cities of Persia, nations fell before their might. Their reputation preceded them, a force of nature, disciplined, ruthless, and possessing military tactics far beyond their time. The world held its breath, wondering where this relentless tide would crash next. The answer would soon send a tremor of fear through the heart of Europe. In the brutal winter of 1241, the storm broke. A massive Mongol army, led by the brilliant generals Bato Khan and Subutai, crossed the Carpathian Mountains and descended upon the kingdoms of Europe. This wasn't just a raid, it was a full-scale, meticulously planned invasion. The continent, a patchwork of feudal states, was completely unprepared. The Mongols' strategy was terrifying in its efficiency. They split their forces, a classic pincer movement designed to crush any and all opposition simultaneously. In Poland, at the Battle of Legnica, a coalition of Polish, German, and Templar knights, the flower of European chivalry, was utterly annihilated. The Mongols used feigned retreats, smokescreens, and their signature composite bows to sow chaos and decimate the heavily armored but slow-moving knights. It was a massacre. Just 2 days later, hundreds of kilometers to the south, the main Mongol force met the Hungarian army at the Battle of King Bela IV had assembled a massive host, confident in their numbers and their fortified camp. But Subutai, the mastermind behind the campaign, was a genius of warfare. Under the cover of darkness, the Mongols used a pontoon bridge to cross the Sayo River, outflanking the Hungarian army. What followed was a catastrophe for Europe. The Hungarian camp became a death trap. For 2 days, the Mongol horsemen relentlessly pursued and slaughtered the fleeing soldiers. The Kingdom of Hungary was left leaderless and defenseless. The path to the rest of Europe, to Austria, to the German states, to Italy lay wide open. It seemed nothing could stop the Mongol juggernaut. Vienna was next on the list, and then, perhaps, Rome itself. And then, just as Europe stood on the precipice of total conquest, the unthinkable happened. The Mongol armies stopped. They turned around. They simply went home. What could possibly halt such an invincible force? It wasn't a European army or a formidable fortress. The event that saved Europe happened thousands of kilometers away, in the heart of the Mongol Empire, the capital city of Karakorum. The Great Khan, Gedai, the son and successor of Genghis Khan, had died. According to Mongol law and tradition, all royal princes and high-ranking commanders, no matter where they were in the world, had to return to the capital to participate in the Kurultai, the council to elect a new Great Khan, Bato Khan. Despite his position on the verge of conquering a continent, was no exception. Thus, the succession of the empire was more important than any single campaign. So, at the very peak of their European invasion, the Mongol war machine ground to a halt and began the long journey east. This sudden withdrawal is one of history's greatest what-ifs. The Mongol armies never returned to Europe with the same force or focus. Political infighting and the fragmentation of the empire meant the golden opportunity was lost forever. Europe was saved not by its own strength, but by a stroke of pure dumb luck, the timely death of a distant emperor. It makes you wonder, what would our world look like today if Gedai Khan had lived for just a few more years? Would the Renaissance have ever happened? Would the map of Europe, and indeed the world, be completely different? The halt of the Mongol invasion wasn't just a turning point. It was the moment the future of an entire civilization hung precariously in the balance, ultimately decided by a single death halfway across the world. The echoes of that event shape the world we live in today. Thank you for watching. If you found this piece of history as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. Let me know in the comments what you think would have happened if the Mongols had stayed. See you in the next video.